What is interchange optimization? Let's break it down. Let's start with interchange. Interchange is the fees charged by the issuing bank. So the bank that issues the card, they have a fee that they charge, and these are called interchange fees. Now, most of you watching this video in the payments industry probably already knew that, but what you may not fully understand is that interchange fees can be optimized. In other words, whatever a merchant is currently paying in interchange cost, they could potentially pay less if they were working with you and you were handling their payments correctly. All right. So how does interchange optimization work? Well, let me break it down for you really quickly here. You have to have one of two things at a business in order to be able to optimize the interchange. Number one, you have to have B2B payments. So that's the first option. Now, when in business-to-business payments, what's interesting about that is the regular interchange for a payment when a business uses their card to purchase something. So think about a pizza shop where you're like, well, they don't do very much B2B. Well, they probably do actually. Most pizza shops do a lot of catering and a lot of things where a local business will buy pizza for their employees. And those are really big transactions. So even though they might not do a lot of B2B transactions, each transaction might average $300. So it adds up to a lot of revenue overall, right? Big chunk of their revenue. So you have to when you have these B2B payments, what happens is there are rules around the interchange table that say if we collect additional data when we get that transaction, things like a purchase order number, making sure we have address information for the purchaser, right? All these different things. And there's a bunch of others I won't get into, but when you collect this data, this additional data, and send that through with the transaction, you end up getting qualifying for a lower interchange rate. So let's imagine we have a pizza shop and they're doing around $10,000 a month in B2B transactions. Maybe they do $50,000 a month total, but $10,000 a month that they do in B2B transactions, right? Well, if on average they're paying, let's say currently 3%, right, as an overall interchange for these B2B transactions, because they're all running as, corporate cards and everything. So they're paying around $300 for those transactions, but you might be able to save that business like $100, right? Get them down to maybe $200 if you can get them down to a level 2 or level 3 transaction. So we have B2B transactions and we have government transactions as well. So when a government entity comes and spends money or a business spends money, there's an opportunity to send additional data through with that transaction. And as a result, you're able to optimize and get a lower interchange rate. Now, how do you do that? Well, you're going to leverage technology to do that. So you need to talk to your payment processor about, hey, what gateway are we using? Does it do level 2 and level 3 optimization? Okay. Now, I also have a really good ebook on that. If you head over to ISOAMP, it's getisoamp.com. So getisoamp.com, getisoamp.com. And you just click on the ebooks right there. You'll see I have a free download for an ebook on interchange optimization that dives a bit deeper. There's another option though for you to get interchange optimization, and that is through something called downgrades. Okay. Now, a downgrade is when a transaction simply isn't run correctly. I remember I was dealing with a auto repair shop at one point, and huge place. I mean, huge. They did like over $100,000 a month in volume. And for an auto repair shop, that's a lot, And what they were doing is I looked at their report, and it was all these downgrades. So when you see a downgrade on the interchange table, it's going to either say it's a standard, you see the word standard, or you see the term EIRF. Those are both what's called a downgrade. It means when the transaction went through, there was something wrong with the transaction, and the interchange table basically says, hey, you didn't qualify for any of these lower rates, so you get the highest rate. It's like 2.95%, it's like a standard downgrade. Well, what happened with this auto repair shop is I looked and saw that like 80% of their transactions were downgraded. And I'm like, man, you guys are spending like an extra $1,000 a month or more. What's going on? Well, it turns out they were batching they had a 25-cent batch fee. So whenever they would batch their terminal, it cost them 25 cents. So they were trying to save money, and they batched their terminal out like once a week. And so nobody'd ever stop to tell them that if the settlement date doesn't match the authorization date on a transaction, it gets downgraded, okay? So it was costing them like $1,000 a month. In exchange, they were saving like $2. So I was able to help optimize their interchange by simply saying, hey, guess what? We're going to set up an auto batch. It's going to batch every day, right? So stupid things like that, but there's a lot of different things along those lines that can really help you to optimize the interchange cost. Now, if you want to learn more about all of this, let me tell you where you need to go. You need to go to getisoamp.com, which is a company I own and the sponsor of this little mini series I'm doing. And you need to sign up for an account so that when you get a statement, you can upload that statement into the system and you can see interchange optimization opportunities. We're going to look at every line item on that interchange table and map it over to the correct, optimized one so you can see, hey, wait a minute. I've got an extra $500 of potential savings here. Now you got to talk to your processor and make sure you're using the right gateway so you can give them that optimization. But there are opportunities here where you can maximize savings while still also maximizing your margin. So again, if you want to learn more about that or learn more about the sponsor of this video, the leader in statement analysis by far and away, we do thousands of statements a month. Head over to getisoamp.com and check it out.